Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mishawaka High School's production of Curious Savage by John Hector. At this time, we kindly ask and thank you to turn off all cell phones or put them in airplane mode during tonight's performance, as they interfere with our microphone system. Also, there will be a 15-minute intermission. Now we invite you to sit back and relax as we take you to the living room of the Cloisters, a sanatorium in 1950. Please enjoy The Curious Savage.
Everyone watches out, hey! Timber! Call me? Why, the whole shelf might have fallen on you.
Oh, whoever's been hurt by good books.
Enough of them might be drugs, and I'd hate for that to happen.
I hate everything in the world. But most of all, I hate cold cream, hot dogs, codfish, crawfish, catfish, catnip, sheep, sawdust, subway, skewers, viewers, butterball, caterpillars, friction, fashion, paint, punch, policemen, and electricity!
How much longer do we have to wait? What is she like, Miss Willie?
Well, I haven't seen her. Let's tidy up the room a bit.
Fairy,
Will you put the parcheesi squared away, please?
you know, they're taking an awfully long time in the front office. Is she young or old, Miss Willie?
All I know is that her name is Savage, and she gets the blue room.
I hope she isn't beautiful. Competition exhausts me.
Well, Bingo, you got dressed in a hurry.
Mrs. Willie, I wish you wouldn't call me that. It's a pet name my wife uses.
I forgot.
And I wish you wouldn't single me out to kiss.
Well, you're the handsomest.
What would my wife think if she came to call and saw a strange woman kissing me? She'd explode.
She would if I know her.
Will you please try to remember?
I'll try. Forgive me. Phone ringing?
But I've been on a faulty wiring today.
Hello? Ah, yes, Doctor. I'm in. Right away. Put the dartboard up, Hannibal. Please don't clutter the place, darling. Let's make a good first impression.
Will we meet her now?
I don't know.
Oh, we haven't had anyone exciting here since our magician's wife. Remember, she was all nervous for being Sally have so much. What was her name?
Something hyphenated.
I forget, but she had color. Most of my relations are also drab. Both of my parents were albinos. Very. Well, they were emotional albinos. Fairy, don't peek. You know it's so degrading to get down on your knees. You get on your knees to pray, don't you? I'll say a prayer. Dear God, let me see something.
Oh, Samuel, it's called a personal space bubble. Don't pop it. Willie, Bell, stop stepping on my shoe!
Saying, better get off with me.
You know you didn't tell the porters to get off me now, did you?
If you want to have that attitude, she can come home and she'll sleep in your room.
Oh, if you both don't shut up, I'm admitting you both. Understood? I want to go first. Door.
Do you see anything?
Yes, I do. God was quick.
What do you see?
Someone coming into Dr. Emmett's office. Who? 1, 2, 3 strange people. They're coming in here. Let's hide in the hall and eavesdrop.
Is that ethical, Jeff?
You know he sent out anyhow.
We could call it espionage.
Tell Mrs. Patty we're going to spy.
I'll start the light switch. It's rude to let guests enter a dark room after all.
This is the last time I'm a part of the peeking fairy. Kneeling simply ruins my nylons. I mustn't get excited or I'll get the hiccups and betray us.
Dr. Emmett will join you in a moment.
Please tell him if there's nothing more, we'd like to get started back soon.
Yes, Senator. There's magazines and candy on the coffee table. Please make yourself at home.
Well, what do you think of it, Dennis? Are you reassured?
Somewhat, Lily Bell. It certainly doesn't look like an institution. Not at all.
Oh, well, Mother will be contented and happy here, I'm sure. It seems like a charming place.
Well, I just hope we haven't made a mistake.
Oh, darling, the only mistake we made was in not taking steps sooner.
I know, Lily Bell. I just hate to be thought insensitive, you know. I mean, we could have left Mother at home with an attendant.
That would have been disastrous.
You know, Lily Bell, you're hard.
Well, someone has to be practical.
No, you're callous. You've married way too many foreigners.
Samuel, dear, we've done what had to be done. Let's not quarrel about it, please.
Lily Bell is right, Samuel. This is civilized behavior.
Sorry I was late. I was anxious to have Dr. Johnson question your mother.
Oh, this is quite the place you have here, Doctor. It's been wonderful for us to have gotten it so cheerful.
But then we were sure that your place offered the best that money could buy.
We hope we offer the best that experience can provide.
One thing I meant to ask you, Doctor. Will Mother be exposed to any danger here?
Not at all.
Really not.
The guests in this wing are in their final stage of treatment. Most of them are kind and cooperative. On the surface, most of them are just like you, Senator.
Well, you don't say.
While we're waiting, Senator, I'd like to ask you a few more questions about this memorial fund of your mother's.
Oh, there's little more to tell, Doctor. She planned on using it to give away the entire Savage estate.
The newspapers called it her happiness fund.
Was this indifference to money something recent?
I wouldn't say so.
She's always given money to foolish causes.
Would you mind being more specific?
Well, there was that Italian farmer who wanted a box of soil from Italy.
Just dirt.
Mother spent $200 just to get it for him.
And there was that flower peddler who wanted a tombstone for his horse.
Let's just say, Doctor, he died.
After our father died, this obsession got progressively worse. Last summer, she chartered a school ship to send 1,000 children around the world.
Why?
She said, and I quote, "They ought to go around the world while they're still above the ground."
We stopped her just as she was on the verge of setting up this fund legally.
With a board of directors.
With a fantastic board of directors. Not a banker, a bishop, or a lawyer among them.
Well, whom did she choose?
She chose a postman, a gardener, a veterinarian, and herself.
We should have known her mind was going the day she decided to get on the stage.
Oh, that! Have you heard of such a strange case before, Doctor? I mean, what would make a woman of her age decide to become, of all things, an actress?
The unique is your teen years, Senator. Nothing surprises us.
I mean, if she had been talented or even vain, I could have understood it.
But she was always quiet, even timid, and then suddenly this amazing change.
Grief did it.
So why turn to acting, Doctor? Life certainly has enough run in it.
God knows.
Isn't that right?
As Judge Savage says, God knows.
You should explain that better to us.
Obvious exhibition.
Exactly.
You see, she took a childish delight in being seen everywhere with that teddy bear.
Anything to indulge this sudden love for notoriety.
Her entire conduct was a travesty of dignity and self-respect.
And sound business.
Can you tell me, Senator, has there ever been a similar pattern of behavior in your mother's family?
I don't think I can say so, Doctor.
Well, you see, Doctor, she's not actually our mother. Our father remarried when we were children.
Oh, I see.
But it hasn't made any difference in our feeling for her.
Well, I'm afraid I can't be much help to you time to observe her conduct here.
You're the doctor.
And we're sure she'll be comfortable in such a charming place.
I wouldn't mind staying to myself, actually.
Samuel, this is no place to laugh.
But we encourage laughter, Senator. We think it helps you.
Do.
Of course. It's good therapy. For as Byron says, if I laugh at any mortal thing, because I may not weep.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yes, Miss Willie.
I beg your pardon, Dr. Evans, but Dr. Johnson won't be able to complete Mrs. Savage's file for the moment.
Why not?
He finds her a little uncooperative.
Then will you bring her in, please?
Yes, Doctor.
While you're saying goodbye, have a talk with Dr. Johnson.
Oh, please don't go, Doctor.
Please, Doctor, no.
We'd actually prefer if you stayed. I think the quicker we make this, the better for all concerned.
Doctor, you don't understand. She's vindictive.
For some reason, Doctor, she holds me responsible.
Would you come in here, Mrs. Savage?
Will you sit down, Mrs. Savage?
We waited to say goodbye to you, Mother.
I do not like thee, Lily Bell. The reason why I cannot tell, and this I know and know full well. I do not like thee, Lily Bell.
She's been chanting that over and over, all the way down here.
Your children are leaving, Mrs. Savage, and would like to say goodbye. Would you like to say goodbye to them?
Samuel Bubble!
The fireflies are out.
Really couldn't say, Mrs. Savage.
Oh, I thought you'd know. Isn't this a bug house?
This is the cloisters. Just to be in your home. I'm Dr. Emmett.
Wouldn't it be fascinating if human beings glowed like fireflies while they were mating? Do you light up while you're mating, Lily Bell? Lord knows you're flying.
We might as well go to hide. She's going to be unpleasant again.
Oh, Lily Bell, calm down, please. Surely, Mother, you're not going to let us leave in an atmosphere of bitterness.
50 needles and 50 pins and 50 dirty Republicans.
Oh, shucks! Determined to take the wrong attitude.
It's futile, Titus.
Oh, time again this day. Samuel, come along.
We'll send him over close down later, Doctor. We can pack what it was written under the circumstances.
Well, Sunday is visitor day here to bring them then.
That won't work, Doctor. You see, my sister is returning to Paris next
Wait,
week.
wait.
But we'll make arrangements. Good night, Mother. Oh. Watch yourself.
If there's anything you need, Mrs. Savage, Miss Wilhelmina will take care of you.
We have a lovely garden out there. You'll be able to see it in the morning. You know, when I was a child, we always said, 30 needles and 30 pins, you've added 20 more dirty Republicans.
It's a fault of mine. Exaggeration. I suppose it has to be exasperating now to be funny later.
I noticed one of its eyes is gone. It must have dropped out in the front office. I'll look as soon as they go.
Don't bother. It fell out last fall at the opera. I'd have found it, but the usher was so nasty about my lighting matches during the Magic Fire music. You know what this is, don't you?
Suppose you tell me.
It's a teddy bear. Surely you've seen one before.
Not that big.
Do you know what I do with it?
I couldn't possibly guess.
I sleep with it.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Are you going to talk to me as if I were an imbecile too?
Here, we mustn't be hostile.
Of course not. You haven't harmed me. Would you care to know why I sleep with it?
If you care to tell me.
I don't care. And I'll tell you. I get lonely. I'm too old to have a lover, and I'm too fastidious to sleep with a cat.
Then by all means, you must take it to bed with you, dear. Would you care to take off your hat?
I suppose if I'm going to spend the rest of my life here, I might as well.
It's a mighty saucy hat.
A 10-cent piece of felt and with a chicken feather. $85. Why economy should be expensive, I don't know.
It takes imagination.
And the blood of pirates. But I wanted it. I wanted a hat like this since I was 16, for all the good it does me now. Maybe you should take it. You could use it for something, I'm not at all sure what.
Oh no, you better keep it. You might need it.
I suppose. Oh, dear, dear, my hair feels like the matted end of a coconut.
It doesn't look like it. It's a heavenly color.
You should have seen it last year. It was bright red, and then, just to be different, I dyed it black with a white streak down the middle. I looked like nothing so much as a skunk. Finally, I just gave up and tinted it blue. It goes with everything.
It'll certainly go with your room.
Is it time to lock me up?
I wouldn't dream of locking you up.
Well,
Did you bring any suitcases?
my daughter did. I wasn't consulted.
I'll get them and I'll take you up. There will be time to explore your surroundings tomorrow. You can wait here.
Alone?
Of course.
No handcuffs?
We have the honor system.
Honor system indeed. Hello.
Miss Willie says the locks are there to keep the world outside. Corny, isn't it?
Oh, it's alive! Fairy, you must stop frightening yourself.
The poor thing's quite harmless.
It won't bite.
It won't shed, lay eggs, or bark. And to the best of my knowledge, it's unvexed by sex. It couldn't be any less trouble.
Well, in that case, any friend of yours is a friend of mine. We should introduce ourselves. You must be Mrs. Savage. I'm Florence Williams.
How do you do, Florence?
We're so May I introduce you to Fairy May? Say you love me.
But we've only just met.
You don't have to mean it. I just feel wonderful when people say they love me.
Well, I'm sure everyone loves you.
See, I told you she wouldn't be spoiled. Welcome to the cloisters. Climate best by government test.
Thank you.
And this is Hannibal.
Hello.
And this is our Mrs. Patty.
How do you do, Mrs. Patty?
I hate everything in the world, but most of all, I hate lightning, skunk cabbage, custard, mustard, spiders, blisters, girdles, mice, bees, teeth, rug meat, chloroform, rhubarb, barnacles, bat, broken back eels, crumbs, tombstones, goldstones, sultan, thunder!
Why don't you like rhubarb?
Mrs. Patty won't answer you, Mrs. Savage. She only recites the things she hates.
Sweet but stubborn. Mrs. Patty stopped talking about 20 years ago.
Why?
She got mad. Her husband told her to shut up. And she did.
She gave up conversation for life.
But she's only giving up electricity for life.
Well, you're a woman of wisdom, Mrs. Patty. There's only one thing wiser than saying very little, and that's saying nothing at all. Would you care to hold it?
She likes you.
I like her.
Oh, you haven't met Jeff yet. Come here, Jeff.
Please excuse my left hand.
Certainly. Is it a toothache?
Jeff has a scar and he likes to spare people.
Well, you don't need to spare me. I have to look at myself every morning.
Dr. Emmett refuses to let me wear a bandage.
I suppose once in a while we have to humor our doctors.
Well, now you've met everyone. We're a small group in this wing, but I'm sure you'll find us comfortable to live with.
But Mrs. Savage hasn't met everyone. She hasn't met the bully terrors.
Of course, how stupid of me.
Where is she, Florence? Why, she was here a moment ago. Jo Marie!
She might have gone to the hall, Florence.
I'll see. Jo Marie! You won't hurt her, will you?
Gracious, why should I?
You don't object, will you?
Well, what is Joan Marie?
Her daughter, what did you think?
Here?
Oh, yes, she was born here. Oh, asleep behind the couch. My husband always told me that I'd be a bad mother. Mrs. Savage, my daughter. You like children, don't you?
Everyone's but my own. How old is she?
5.
She's been for 5 months.
No, 5 years.
Oh, I meant years.
Oh, do excuse me. She has the measles, and I do hope you don't catch them. Excuse me.
That was mighty kind of you, Mrs. Savage. Not to notice anything wrong, of course.
There wasn't time to explain, but you were like lightning.
We should have you know right away, Mrs. Savage, that Florence isn't well. We pretend for her sake, and we hope you will too.
Oh, I will.
And the rest of us are free to leave here anytime we want to.
But we don't, because there's no better place to go.
You're a very lucky woman to be accepted here, Mrs. Savage, if I say so myself, and I do.
Oh, do be quiet.
Hybrid.
What is that?
That rude little noise is a signal for us to go to our rooms.
It's the evil of the machine age. Perfect pistons and no manners.
Well, ours not the reason why. I wonder why no one ever starts with the first line. It's someone blundered.
Well, good night.
I didn't hear you. We don't say that here. It means there's no more.
No more what?
Oh, there's no more of so much.
Don't let just manner disturb you. During the war, his plane was shot down in flames.
Oh, was his face badly burned?
No, he bailed out, but he lost his crew. His scar was deeper than we could see.
I'm sure you've guessed by now that Hannibal and I, we're the only guests who are free to leave. We don't say it for the others, to save their pride. I forgot you were still here, Mrs. Patty. I'm gonna be you anyhow. Oh, I could tear my tongue out. Will you please
Yes, fairy. She is the gift of the good for saying the wrong thing.
I should think it would take a bit of doing to apologize to someone that doesn't talk and sulks anyhow.
You'll get used to Mrs. Patty. Just think of her like a clock. Look at her as the day goes on, but don't expect an answer. She's happy at her easel.
Is she an artist?
Well, she paints.
Portraits?
Seascapes, which is rather odd because she's never seen the ocean.
I forgot to warn you, Mrs. Savage. Stay awake. Go to your room. Don't sleep.
What did she mean about not sleeping?
None of us sleep here.
Where do you sleep?
Well, we go to our room, but we've agreed that in principle we don't fall asleep because when we fall asleep, today ends and tomorrow begins. And tomorrow could be filled with disaster and terrible, horrible things. So you won't catch us sleeping here. Could anything be more simple?
Not much.
Today's the only certainty, I always say.
Hannibal, you heard the buzzer. Why aren't you in your room?
I am in spirit, and people say it's the spirit that counts. Remember, Mrs. Savage, fight the night.
Did they all come in to meet you?
Well, there was a Mrs. Patty and 4 others who have no reason being here at their age.
I quite agree.
Do you think I belong here?
We're understaffed, Mrs. Savage. I'm kept too busy to have any opinions.
I'd like to know what they told you about me.
Was there anything to tell?
Did they mention my memorial fund?
Not to me.
Then they probably told you that my husband's death affected my reason.
Well, that would be understandable.
But untrue.
Why? I mean, weren't you happy with your husband?
Yes. I married Jonathan when I was 16. I loved him from the moment I met him until the moment he died. Do you know what that meant?
I think so.
Well, you don't. It meant that my only aim in life was to make him happy, to want what he wanted, to anticipate what would please him. So that meant that all the other things I ever wanted had to be forgotten.
But surely you had no regrets.
None while he lived, but after he was gone, I remembered all the foolish things I always wanted to do.
What did you always want to do?
Things that would have shocked poor Jonathan.
Such as dyeing your hair blue?
That, and studying French, and ballet dancing, and people. As a girl, I was sure I could have been a great actress. So, with no responsibilities and time running out, I decided to be one.
Don't you think you waited too long, Mrs. Savage?
I certainly do. Had I been a fool in my youth, no one would have noticed the difference in my old age.
I never think of you as old, Mrs. Savage.
Well, having kicked over the traces myself and learned once again the importance of unimportant things, I decided I'd help all the others have the foolish things they always wanted.
How are you going to do that?
By establishing the Jonathan Savage Memorial Fund, a foundation in memory of my husband. And that insane idea has brought me here.
Well, you won't find it too unpleasant here. Shall we go up to your room now?
Well, at least I learned one thing from my French lessons.
What's that?
What I am, I'm a mort canard. That's a dead duck, I think.
No, it's not as bad as that.
Yes, it is. Someday you'll realize that a great injustice was done to me. You'll see that I was always quite sane. But here I am, and here they'll try to keep me, with my few foolish years taken away from me. If people would walk around the edge of the carpet once in a while, it would save wearing it out in the middle.
Oh, you're so right, Jeff. Golden fingertips. I simply surrender to it. I'm a drag.
Thank you.
Do come in, Mrs. Savage.
I trust you had a pleasant, sleepless night.
Lovely, thank you. Not a wink.
You just missed Hannibal's recital.
I heard it. As a matter of fact, it's what brought me out of my room.
You wouldn't believe it, Mrs. Savage, but Hannibal hasn't touched a violin since last year.
What makes you think I wouldn't believe it, my dear? Was it something you composed yourself, Hannibal?
Bach, with variations of my own.
Mathematics law certainly was our game.
Now, I don't quite follow that fairy.
Well, Fairy knows I used to be a statistician.
Thank you. Now I'm straight.
Give him a fraction to multiply.
I'm afraid I wouldn't know if he was right or wrong.
My last job was with the government, charting trends. I had to keep my finger on the pulse of the public and my head to the ground.
A rather vulnerable position, was it not?
There. I was fired and replaced by an electronic calculator.
I should think you would hate electricity, too.
Actually, no. I wanted to do something with my education that was never done before. So I thought of something that could be made for a dime, sold for $1, and was habit forming. But my education was wasted.
I'm going to send Joan Marie to Princeton. Their girls aren't very bright, but they're such ladies. That reminds me, may we ask you a personal question, Mrs. Savage?
They're the only ones worth asking, my dear.
Well, a little bird told us that you used to be an actress. Is it true?
Oh, that? Well, if being on the stage makes you an actress, then I guess it's true.
Miss Willie, the bird Florence mentioned, she had told us you'd been on the New York stage.
I wonder if we've seen you, Mrs. Savage.
Not unless you were quick. Actually, I was only in 2 plays. The first was Macbeth.
Oh, how I adore Macbeth. I sent a pint of my blood to the Red Cross once, but they sent it back.
I would have thought you would have made a novel charge for Lady Macbeth, Mrs. Savage.
I can't tell you how much I agree with you, but they cast me as a witch.
But you're a perfect witch.
Thank you, dear.
Please, speak some witch talk to us.
I wish I could, but I didn't have any lines. If I had, it probably would have cost me twice as much.
But why would it cost you anything?
I backed the show. If I hadn't put up the money, I couldn't have even played the mute witch. But we made history. It was the first play ever to close before the reviews were out.
Was it expensive?
Extremely, but worth it.
What a pity. Weren't you discouraged?
Bitterly, but man is by nature optimistic. If he weren't, he'd eat his young. So I decided to write a play and star myself.
You wrote a play?
I did, indeed, with a courage born of ignorance and a plot out of wedlock.
What part did you play then?
Naturally, the lead. Not Guilty, starring Ethel P. Savage.
What does the P stand for?
I haven't the faintest idea. My numerologist said I would need it in my name for luck. He was right. We ran a year.
What was the play about?
A mother who murdered a man and was defended by a young woman lawyer who turns out to be her own daughter. I had red hair and died in my daughter's arms every night and 2 matinees a week, just as the curtain came down and the jury whispered, "Not guilty." Oh, I've never had a better time in my life.
I gather the notices were good at the time.
Well, they were sincere, but it didn't make much difference.
What did they say?
The Times said my play set the theater back 50 years, but it couldn't possibly because I stole the plot from Madame X, and that's only 40 years old.
What did you think they know?
But the Wall Street said I was wonderful. It said I brought something new to the theater.
Money? Oh, Fairy, money isn't new.
What did the Wall Street say?
It said I had a tenacious mediocrity unhampered by taste.
But that wasn't good at all.
It was perfect. In our ads, we simply said tenacious and unhampered.
And you ran a year.
We'd have been running yet if my daughter hadn't come home and stopped me. Oh, I know I was bad and audiences only came to laugh at me, but I had a good time. I do miss it. Oh well, my turn is coming.
I don't think that was very nice of your daughter. Don't! Please don't do it! Don't! Fairy, what's wrong? Look, Mrs. Savage, she's going to read the newspaper.
Oh, what's the matter?
Please, Mrs. Savage, please give me the paper.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
it to happen.
Waiting for what to happen, Mrs. Savage?
Why, what it says in the paper.
But we don't know what it says in the paper.
Then why are you trying to keep me from reading it?
We have an agreement.
We only read the newspaper after a month they've happened. It's better for the unpleasant things to pass by.
It's reassuring to know it's over and nothing can be done.
My dear people, there's something important that I'd like to know about now, not next month.
We're only trying to help you. Exactly.
Well, I've made my bed, and I'd like to know who's in it.
We can't prevent Mrs. Savage from reading the newspaper, even if she insists. We don't know her well enough to be rude.
Florence is right.
Well, if you read anything unpleasant, don't tell us.
No!
If there's trouble in this world, it won't help us to know about it.
This is yesterday's paper. I need today's paper.
It isn't here yet.
When does it come?
I don't know.
Is there a radio here?
Yes, actually, I'm right over here by the telephone.
Why didn't anyone mention there was a radio here? Maybe I can catch the news.
You had never asked us.
This set doesn't light up. Is something wrong with it?
I don't think so. Oh, of course it hasn't any tubes.
It hasn't any what?
Tubes. Mrs. Patty heats electricity, you know.
Why didn't anyone say the set had no tubes?
You hadn't asked us.
Oh, dear, dear, dear. How high is that wall?
Much too high.
It's easily 10 chairs high.
And I suppose no one ever leaves the great gate open?
Don't look beyond the gate, Mrs. Savage. There may be a better place somewhere, but if you give this up to search for it, you may not find it and lose what you have.
You'll like it here after a while, Mrs. Savage.
Except in January. The rooms get a little cold.
It isn't that I don't find you enchanting, but you...
But we want it. Please don't say anything mean. Oh, do be still. We have to go, Mrs. Savage.
But where?
It's garden hour.
We each have a plot and we plant things, vegetables or flowers. Last year, I planted a birdseed to see what would come up. What did come up, Fairy? Nothing, but it's a rich horticultural experience.
At Christmas time, there's a beautiful evergreen in the center that reads, "Merry Christmas, keep out."
Do come with us, Mrs. Savage. I'll show you my delphiniums.
No, please, go on without me. I've got some serious thinking to do. I'll
But
just stay.
the buzzer buzzed. One has to obey orders after all.
May I ask what you're doing, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, I believe in wearing a carpet out evenly.
Oh, how prudent. I'm going to help you.
But don't you have to garden?
This is more constructive. Well, I'll help too. We must all do our own share.
But I didn't mean to start a procession.
Come, boys. Many feet. Make light work.
Why not? It's a refreshing change. Most women just lead us in circles.
Go ahead, Mrs. Savage. We're behind you.
But I feel like the Pied Piper.
You step on please. Campbell can take the buds. Mrs. Savage can have the rest, and the rest of us will walk outdoors. You know what we're doing this, Lily?
Wearing out the carpet evenly?
Oh, someone told you.
Didn't I hear the buzzer ring garden hour?
I didn't hear it. I think it's broken.
Mary, aren't you ashamed?
Oh, I wish I were dead.
I'm afraid this is my fault, Miss Willie.
I didn't feel like gardening anyhow.
But you worked so hard on your flowers. Do you want them to die?
I don't want anything to die. Oh, that's so true. Florence wouldn't hurt flies. She collects flies and lets them out the window. Flies adore her.
I think we'd all better go out work in the garden. Here, share your seats with Mrs. Savage, please. Run along now. Are you going with them, Mrs. Savage?
I'd like to speak to you. Alone.
All right. What can I do for you?
A great deal, and it may be that I could do a great deal for you.
Are you about to offer me a bribe, Mrs. Savage?
How could you guess?
Everyone does at first.
Still, my offer is a little different. I have the money. I'll give you $20,000 to leave that door open tonight. $30,000.
Don't you like this, Mrs. Savage?
That's the most irritating answer to a sound business offer, my dear. $40,000.
Now, where would you get $50,000, Mrs. Savage? That's a fortune.
I can get it, and in the current idiom, 50,000 is peanuts.
Oh, I believe you, but I'm afraid I'll have to refuse.
Then you leave me no choice but to burn the place down.
Oh, you wouldn't do that.
Oh yes, I would.
Too many people here wouldn't know how to save themselves, and you think of them first.
If you think I belong here, then why are you appealing to my reason?
I wasn't. I was appealing to your emotions.
Never mind that. I can get out soon enough. It's just that bribing you would have been cheaper. Now I'll have to pay a couple of million at least.
Oh, good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Mrs. Savage downstairs?
She just this minute went out to the garden.
What's your state of mind this morning?
The usual pattern. She's already offered me a bribe.
What did she offer you?
The highest yet. 50,000, the poor dear.
She sounds confident.
Definitely manic. She talked as if she still controlled her own affairs.
Apparently she does. Read this. I've just been talking to her children. They're practically out of their minds themselves. The senator's leaving Washington at once. Pick up his sister in New York and the judge in Boston be here by tonight.
This is the most amazing story I've ever read. When did they discover it?
I gathered this morning. They asked me to confine her to her room.
I don't understand it. How could she get away with so much money?
Apparently her husband left the estate to her. She's been secretly selling out control ever since.
$10 million? That's a typographical error, isn't it?
No, they had it all right.
But what could she have done with it?
As her son says, God knows.
Could she have spent it?
I doubt it. Will you call her in, please? I better tell her what to expect.
Mrs. Savage, will you come in here, please? Dr. Emmett wants to speak with you. Are you going to place her in seclusion?
Of course not. But sometimes I do wish there was a way of placing relations in seclusion. There are always much more trouble than the patients.
Do you think she knows what happens with money?
If she does, she's the only one.
Is there any possibility that there's actually a method in her madness?
Miss Willie, I find it harder every day to find exactly where reason ends and madness begins. But for the moment, I must accept the evidence of her stepchildren.
Well, from what I've heard, her son's record in Congress would give any good psychiatrist a nasty turn.
It certainly would. And the sensationalism of her daughter's 6 divorces doesn't speak too well for her emotional stability either.
Did you want me, Doctor?
Yes, good morning. We help out the switchboard, mirror, and the loose calls from newspapers.
Yes, Doctor.
Please sit down, Mrs. Savage.
I think I know what you're going to tell me.
Do you?
I see you have the morning papers. I wondered how long it would take them to find out.
Then you're aware of what you've done, and the consequences?
Oh, it's too early for consequences. May I see them?
The senator phoned from Washington. We can expect them by tonight.
Indeed we can. Well, I'm not going anyplace.
How could you have possibly spent that much money without someone knowing about it?
Who said I spent it?
That paper says you did.
Oh, what do they know? I didn't spend it. I couldn't. I hid it.
You hid it?
In nice $500,000 negotiable bonds that cannot be traced.
Why?
I don't ask you what you do with your money, Doctor.
I'm sorry this has happened, Mrs. Savage, but I'm afraid your great hidden treasure is going to prove a disadvantage to you.
That's because you're a doctor, and doctors don't know the value of money.
I'm sorry. I just came back to get my violin for Fairy. She wants music while she plants her seeds.
Just a moment, Hannibal. You were a statistician. How long would it take the average doctor to earn that much money?
Well, he'd have to start before Christ was born and work his way up through the burning of Rome and St. Joan and Savonarola. With time out, of course, for the Norman Conquest, the Crusades, the 100 Years' War, the 30 Years' War, and the 7 Years' War. He'd have to work double time during the discovery of America up to penicillin and bubblegum. But that's without deducting federal tax, state tax, city tax, school tax, luxury tax, and amusement tax. That'd be $100, I mean, 100 years, maybe?
Thank you, Hannibal. It's a great deal to be responsible for, Mrs. Savage.
Now what's the doctor up to? A bit of emotional blackmail, I suspect. Hannibal, would you guess to look at me that I'm worth $10 million on the hoof.
Never. The human body only has 20 cents worth of calcium, in it 5 cents worth of iodine, and 20 cents worth of phosphorus, and even at her current high prices, no one's worth over $1.50.
So you only value me at $1.50?
Oh, never. You said worth. Your value is inestimable.
Hannibal, I like you. I like you very much. You make me feel important. You make me feel like dancing.
Perfect. What shall it be?
Anything.
I'm good on the flight of the bumblebee.
Could anything be more appropriate? The bees come home and find the honey gone. Someone's going to be stung. Play, Hannibal.
Are you reading?
Yes, dear.
Is it interesting?
Very.
I'm not disturbing you, am I?
Now, what's the matter, Fairy May? Come on and sit.
It's just that no one said they loved me this livelong day.
Why, yes, they have, Fairy.
Oh, no, they haven't. I've been waiting.
I heard Florence say it at the dinner table.
Did she? Did I?
She said, "Don't eat too fast, Fairy."
Was that her saying she loved me?
Of course. People say it when they say, "Take an umbrella, it's raining," or "Hurry back," or even, "Watch out, you'll break your neck." There's hundreds of ways of wording it. You just have to listen for it, my dear.
One time, my dentist said I had perfect occlusion. Do you think he was saying he loved me?
What else? Why, the first time I met my husband, I was riding horseback, and he said I had a good seat. I knew immediately he loved me.
Oh, thank you so much. My dentist loved me.
Now, what else can I clear up for you?
Nothing. I'm sorry I disturbed you. Thank you and forgive me. Mrs. Savage.
Yes?
I'm keeping score and the boys won't help me. What's 5 and 7 and 4?
49.
But Mrs. Savage.
It's my own system, Hannibal. I refuse to submit to the tyranny of mathematics.
Then I win.
I will keep score this time.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes?
may I interrupt you for 1 more minute?
Of course.
Why is it suddenly Sunday again when it was Sunday yesterday?
Why do you think it's Sunday?
If your children are coming to see you today, it must be Sunday, because Sunday is Visitor's Day. I guess I had an awfully good time this week.
It isn't Sunday, Fairy. My brood are coming back because they just simply couldn't wait a week.
Well, that should make you happy.
It should, but it doesn't.
Excuse me, but don't you like them?
Not at all.
Why, I think that's a wicked thing to say.
Well, we have to be wicked once in a while to get God's attention. But if it consoles you, dear Florence, they were not mine. My husband was left with 3 small children.
Well, didn't you like them when they were little?
I wanted to make them my own desperately, but they always resented me. Why, the first time I put my arms around Lily Bell, she bit me, and she bit me every day until she was dead.
That must have made you very high strung.
Yes.
And what stopped her at the exact age of 10?
I suppose at the age of 10, a girl begins to consider her teeth.
But the boys must have been better.
Not always. They had been spoiled by money, and whenever I tried to correct them, they'd break something I treasured to get even with me. It was a happy day when they went away to school.
But certainly school must taught them something.
Yes, French. After that, they spoke nothing but French, so I couldn't understand them. And I haven't understood them since.
Well, you must be quite proud of them. The senator is quite famous, isn't he?
That he is, make no mistake. I'm told that he gets more threatening telegrams than any other man in Congress. I believe Western Union lists him as a tangible asset.
But if voters are so unhappy with him, why do they keep sending him back to Washington?
They're no fools. It's the only way to keep him out of the state.
The other son's a judge, isn't he?
That's a distinction.
He's made it one. He's had the distinction of having had more of his decisions reversed than any other man in jurisprudence.
Mrs. Savage, is the daughter pretty?
Well, there's a picture of her in the paper. I'll show it to you and you can judge for yourself.
Oh, Mrs. Savage, don't show us anything in the paper.
I won't. I'll just show you her picture.
But we don't look at pictures either.
People are always pinned under trunks. I'll just peek first to make sure it isn't horrible.
Well, even I can say it's horrible.
Ah! Oh, she's a queen. She's wearing a crown. Oh, a queen.
That's a tiara, Fairy. It's a picture taken when she was married to her Slavic prince.
Let's take a quick look, Hannibal. Just be polite, of course.
Then she's a princess.
No, she discarded the prince a good 6 husbands ago.
But why?
Hell hath no music like a woman playing second fiddle.
But she kept the tiara.
Indeed she did. I suspect she sleeps in it.
I don't know when I've seen a prettier tiara.
But that dress, it's cut rather low, isn't it?
I don't like her. Let's do something mean to her. Why, Fairy? I don't mean really mean. I mean, like putting her picture on the dartboard and throwing darts at it.
Fairy, my dear child, that's exactly what we'll do.
Oh, you wouldn't.
I need exercise, my dear.
Fairy, you're such an evil girl to think of such a thing. Don't you talk to me like that. I'm sensitive.
Florence, I'm the culprit. Now, let's see, what can I pin it up with?
Mrs. Patty has some thumbtacks. Fairy, I'm so disappointed in you. You know what? I wish I had died in my cradle.
Mrs. Patty, that's the loveliest seascape I've ever seen. Do you know, I can actually smell the ocean. I think your genius lies in your simplicity. You challenge the imagination. Could I borrow 4 thumbtacks? Thank you.
Why, this is setting a very bad example for motherhood.
Do stop worrying, Florence. Don't you like surprises?
Well, yes.
Well, I want to surprise Lilybell. I'll tee off first. Now, target for tonight. Missed it a little. Right in the tiara.
Oh, something dreadful is going to happen, I know.
Everybody to the upstairs setting. Mrs. Savage's visitors.
Miss Willie, may I stay? I don't meet strangers anymore. Please let me.
I'm sorry, Fairy, but the senator has insisted on privacy. Hurry now, everybody out.
The next time I'm ordered out, I'm going to go without saying a word. I have as much pride as anyone.
All the way upstairs now.
How's the weather out there?
The weather? Stormy. Here are your visitors, Mrs. Savage.
That will be all. You can wait outside.
Okay. I'll leave the latch off the door and wait in the hallways.
I don't know what to say to you, Mother. For the life of me, I don't know what to say.
Polite people say, good evening.
Deception is so unlike you.
I'm not angry, I'm just hurt! Heaven should have made this idea of the enormity of what you've done. You sold control over 15 savage industries.
We'll have to sell our stock in Savage brass to buy it back.
Oh, didn't you find out? I sold that first.
Oh, I mustn't get excited. I mustn't get excited. I gotta get mine.
What else? What else do you dispose of?
Everything in my name.
We're ruined! Well, where's the money then? You couldn't have possibly spent it.
Not at all. I hid it in nice $500,000 negotiable bonds and buried them.
Mother, when you say buried, you mean hidden, right?
I mean buried as in funeral.
Mother, like in the ground buried.
Oh, I feel physically ill.
Well, where is it buried then?
Let me think now. Thank you. I forget.
Oh, Lord, grant my mother one moment of clarity.
Where did you bury them? Concentrate.
Best thing for taking Logan out of the face, Lily Bell. I've got to do something about getting you a new eye. Do you know any place that sells bare eyes, Lily Bell?
Give me that stupid thing and answer us!
It's really help!
Lily Bell, stop it. You're just antagonizing her. We'll get nowhere shouting amongst ourselves.
I'm sorry, Mother. Hold your bear. We forget that you're sick.
What we must make you understand, Mother, is that the money involved is not what concerns us as much as all... What happened?
She bit me!
Oh, nonsense, Lily Bell. Whatever Mother might do, she certainly wanted to send a bite.
Well, it was a walk.
It is that there was a wasp. It's the woman we call Mother. I know when I'm bitten. See? Teeth marks.
Lily Bell, there is no need to raise your voice.
Does it hurt?
Of course it hurts!
Lily Bell, stop shouting, please. We just know we're fighting amongst ourselves. We can't afford it.
You can't afford anything.
We simply refuse to be angry with you, Mother. Now, Lily Bell, more like Lily Smell, apologize.
I will not.
Lily Bell!
Mother, it's quite all right. I don't object to you biting. Gnaw and mangle me to the bone. Gum me to your heart's content. Only tell us what you did with our money.
My money. You've already had your share.
The estate is ours. It's been in the savage family for generations.
8 generations, Mother!
It'd be a shame for you to be the first savage to be found wanting.
Found wanting what?
The savage prize. Now sit down on the couch and listen to exactly what I'm about to tell you.
Treat me like a child.
You are one. Now, the estate has always been a sacred trust. Lily Bell Samuel and I have never considered ourselves great possessors of a great fortune, but only custodians of mere wealth.
Don't do that!
I just asked you to look. She's been throwing darts at my picture.
Oh, nonsense. How could that possibly hurt you?
It's a vicarious form of murdering someone. Only the vicious sort of you do not to science.
We're losing ground here, okay?
We were fostered by a werewolf. Every savage son of us.
I am soaked, and my patience is exhausted. What have you done with the money?
I told you I buried it.
Well, then where? Unless you tell us at once, we're going to put you in a public institution. We will not tolerate this criminal waste.
With all this shouting, you've got me in such a state. I can't think. My head. I have it to bring in my head, as you've said so yourself, time and again.
Not Sandy, Mother.
With all this shouting, I can't remember a thing.
What do you mean you can't remember a thing? Of course you can.
I've got a headache. I just can't.
We'd better be careful, Titus.
You're right, Lily Bell. Thanks. Mother, can we get you anything?
Yes. The only thing that clears my head was those powders I used to take.
Very well, where are they?
I'm out of them.
We can get you more.
Will you?
Well, of course.
Well, here's the prescription number. It's from my druggist in Boston.
You mean you want us to drive all the way back to Boston?
Where is everyone?
Mother, are you ill?
Pound.
Titus, we better just go get those powders and return in the morning. We won't accomplish anything tonight.
Yes, Lily Bell, you're right. I agree with you. So you are going to go to Boston and get prescription filled. Ooh.
Get it filled, Samuel. When we return, I'm going straight to bed.
Are you prepared to tell us where the bonds are in the morning?
Pound.
I'll tell the chauffeur we're ready. Hurry, you two!
Now what's got into him? Well, he's right, Lily Bell. We best be be off. I'll have Dr. Educator receptive.
Lily Bell.
What do you mean by...
I've something important to tell you about the bonds. Close the door.
Well,
I want to tell you and you alone where I hid them.
why me?
Titus and Samuel are fools, and if anything happened to me overnight, the bonds would be lost.
It was Titus who wanted you here, not I. Where did you hide them?
Where would you hide $10 million if you didn't trust banks?
Oh, I don't know.
Under a rock?
Of course not.
Would you hide them in your mattress? Of course. You're never far from your mattress, but what if you did and the house burned down?
Are you going to tell me or not?
Have you ever been to the Museum of Natural History?
No.
Very educational and fireproof.
Mother, please.
Do you know what's on the 3rd floor of the museum?
How could I?
The Department of Ichthyology.
What are you talking about?
Fish. In the last room on the 3rd floor, hanging from 2 wires, is a big, dusty porpoise.
Well?
I stuffed my bonds in that fish when no one was looking.
I don't believe you.
Name me a safer place.
Only a fool would do such a thing.
That's me.
How can you get a package of bonds inside of a fish?
Easy. A razor blade and Scotch tape.
And how do I know you're telling me the truth?
There's a simple way to find out.
Oh, you must think I'm very gullible. I have no intentions of hunting inside of a stuffed porpoise.
Suit yourself.
Lily Bell! Are we just holding coffee all night long? Sam is honking.
Let him honk. Tight quiet.
Dr. I'm going to see you in a moment.
Titus,
Yes?
kiss me goodnight.
Oh no, you've been Lily Bell. I'm not kissing you or touching you or trusting you at all.
Well, that's ironic, because I trust you. I was just about to tell you where the bonds were buried.
Ah. Surely, Mother, you know that I never meant to put you in this place. I listen to Lily Bell.
Well, will you get me out of here and let me alone?
Oh, you know I will.
Then I'll tell you. The bonds are in a tin box.
Where?
Do you remember when I went with a group from Actors Equity to Washington?
Oh, no, I don't.
Well, I do. It was National Ethel Week. We all had lunch with the First Lady. There was Ethel Waters, Ethel Mervyn, Ethel Barrymore, Ethel...
What are you talking about?
My bonds are in the President's hothouse.
I don't believe you.
You didn't believe Pearl Harbor until you investigated.
Why would you choose such a public place? Everybody moving in and out.
Well, I'm not very bright.
Mother, darling, I'm the only one who can't get into the White House.
You should agree with him oftener.
How do I know you just didn't imagine this?
There's a sure way to find out. Dig.
Oh, no, I'm not falling for that trick. You certainly didn't bury the bonds there.
In the corner under the petunia bed.
Titus, unless you hurry, Samuel is going off without us.
I'm coming. And as for you, I refuse to believe you.
What was that?
But out.
We listened. We're horrible. We're quite ashamed. We all wish we were dead.
We wanted to sneak away, but we couldn't without making too much noise. It's quite all right. If you read the papers, you'd know.
Did you really hide all that money?
I did, indeed, for my memorial fund.
And now you're giving it back. You're very generous for your size and weight.
But you didn't tell the judge where his share was.
That note was, the prescription was really a note saying to dig under the chimney.
Why bother telling them? For that matter, why bother hiding all of that?
What makes you think I did?
We heard you.
I am, but not that foolish. Whatever is under the chimney, or in the president's hothouse, or inside a stuffed porpoise, I can assure you, it's not my little bundle of bombs.
Then why did you say they were?
I want to see to what extent they'll make fools of themselves.
But don't you think it's degrading to go out digging?
But they will.
How can you be so sure?
They want to believe me. Let me tell you, there are a million things a man won't do for $5, but there aren't 5 things a man won't do for $1 million. They'll dig.
There will now be a 15-minute intermission. If you haven't paid for a ticket yet, please come to the front.